So Charlie stood up and walked to the side of the ring, Aoshui's resting place. At this time Aoshui was sitting in a small chair for rest, and her coach said to her, "Now you are hitting your back game. This is your disadvantage, but if you want to get it back, you can beat her back. It's her last game. Once you have the upper hand in the upper game, the opponent's advantage in the next game won't be played out. If you play hard, we can still get the score back in the next 3 games." Charlie couldn't help frowning. If you feel that the opponent's disadvantage is on the upper plate, you have to launch an offensive against the opponent's upper plate first. This idea is too simple for your opponent to think of. It's like a police officer catching a gunman, knowing that his biggest target is the abdomen, so he will wear his body armor in advance. On the surface, the disadvantage of this Thai player is the hanging game, but she hides the murderous intention in the second game. Even if Aoshui can take advantage of the hanging game, but it is difficult to hit the other side in the hanging game, but once the opponent is in her after successfully hitting the calf and ankle once, Aoshui's whole person may fall into absolute badness, and thus will have no strength to fight back in the subsequent matches. So Charlie walked up to Aoshui and said to her, "Aoshui, don't hit the opponent's hanging game. Instead, focus on the opponent's bottom game. While avoiding the opponent's attack, look for opportunities and use your height and legs. Long advantage, attack directly above her right calf and knee. Her bottom plate is fast and strong, so you must break her bottom plate to win the final victory." Hearing Charlie's words, Aoshui looked at him with joy, and shouted excitedly, "Master." After speaking, she said with a little shame, "Sorry, Master, let you watch the joke." Charlie smiled comfortingly, "It's okay. At first, it's normal that you can't find the rhythm. If you carefully analyze the opponent's strengths and weaknesses and choose the right strategy, you can turn against the wind and win in the end." Aoshui nodded excitedly, and said piously, "I see, Master, thank you for your teaching." At this moment, the coach next to Aoshui looked at Charlie with a dissatisfied expression, and said, "What are you commanding here? Do you know how to sanda?" Aoshui is now at the most critical time. If the third game cannot save the situation, it is likely to lose. You are still giving her a bad idea at this time. Isn't this intentional to harm her? Charlie said lightly, "I just told her the truth, and it's a fact you can't see. If she continues to play as you said, she will definitely lose miserably this time. The Thai player is not much better than Aoshui in terms of strength, skill and speed. It's just that the opponent's tactics are very smart, so only in the first 2 rounds did Aoshui fight. And if Aoshui is not tactically, and overtakes the opponent by 1 head, then this game will be lost." The coach said angrily, "Where do amateurs dare to fight in front of me? I won the National Sanda Championship, so you dare to point fingers in front of me?" Charlie smiled and said, "You said it yourself, you only won the national championship, but now Aoshui is going to win the world championship. Why do you think you can guide a world championship at the level of a national championship? You." The coach was insulted by Charlie. His heart was very angry, but he couldn't find any suitable words to refute him, so he gritted his teeth and said sharply to Aoshui instead, "Aoshui, if you listen to him today and play according to his method, then you will not train with me, and I will no longer be your coach. You will be on the court later, you can figure it out." Aoshui was also very embarrassed at this time. She didn't expect her coach to choke with Master. She has been training with this coach for more than a year, and the overall feeling is pretty good, but in her mind, his weight is really worse than Master. If Master didn't advise her, she would naturally follow the tactics ordered by the coach. But since Master gave her advice, she would undoubtedly choose the tactics Master formulated. So, after she made the decision, she looked sorry, looked at her coach and said, "Coach, really sorry, I am going to use the tactics Master just told me." "You?" Coach said angrily, "I thought you were a very smart girl, but I didn't expect you to be so ignorant of good and bad. Since you choose to believe in this amateur player, then the relationship between the 2 of us is a teacher and apprentice. That's it." As he said, he stepped off the ring, walked a few meters and then turned around and said, "Aoshui, originally I believed that you can advance to the top 8 this time, and may even hit the medal, but now it seems that your fate in this competition will stop in the group stage. Afterwards, he looked at Charlie coldly, and said disdainfully, "Boy, you ruined a good seedling." Charlie smiled and said, "Really? Why don't I feel at all? On the contrary, I think that Aushway has a chance to hit the championship this time." "Are you kidding?" Coach said disdainfully. "Do you know how strong the real seed player is in this competition? The top seed Japanese player Nanako is far superior to Aushway. The Brazilian player Joanna, the number 1 seed, is also stronger than Aushway. If there is my guidance, Aushway still has a chance to beat Joanna, but without me, she can't even win this game." Charlie smiled and said, "Don't worry, whether it is Brazilian player Joanna or Japanese player Nanako, they will all become Aushway's defeaters." Coach said contemptuously, "Boy, you have a big tone. With your three-legged cat's amateur skills, can Aushway defeat Nanako?"